Welcome to the Octiv Sweat Equity Podcast, a show designed exclusively for gym owners and fitness enthusiasts like you. I'm your host, Mark Forsey. In September, we explore the theme of culture as the core personality for a business. And when trying to think of who to interview this month, our next guest was an absolute no-brainer. The business and the brand that they've built has a larger-than-life personality and a global membership base, which is more like a fan base than anything else. So we're going to be unpacking what is the magic formula that has everyone hooked. Today, I'm chatting to Andrew Rothschild, co-founder of SWEAT1000. Andrew, so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for making the time. I know how busy you are. To jump straight into it, if we talk about culture, the way I usually define company culture is that it's the personality of the business. And this personality of the business is made up of the personality of the people in the business, and that comes from all their values. And it's really like the core that drives the decision-making in the business and the way it makes people feel when they attend your business. So you've obviously built SWEAT1000 along with Paul, your brother, and you've built a very, very successful business that I think you should be very proud of. How would you define the SWEAT1000 culture?
Okay, well, great to be here, and thank you for having me. I really believe that if you follow your passion in life, everything just flows. And the culture we try to create is, having spent the last 30 years in the fitness industry and seeing what attracts people and what retains people as opposed to what pushes them away, is how we've over the years defined the culture in our business, and that is to make people feel welcome, a part of a community, and that that the entire staff component, whenever they walk into our facility, greets them, makes them feel like they're part of the family. And I think culture is it's family, it's values. It's the same values you put into your family life, your relationships, and if you can try and replicate those values in your work environment, that is the key to retaining and making clients feel like they want to keep coming back.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, you can really feel that when you walk into the Sweat facility. I always say you can have all the bells and whistles in terms of the look and feel and the equipment and so on. But if you miss that personality, then it doesn't last. And you can really feel that, there's not once that I've walked in that I haven't felt like I'm welcome, that, usually actually you are there in person and you are chatting to people, and it's more than just arriving for a workout and then going home. And even, if you think about the actual SWEAT1000 classes, they've got a very, very unique feeling to them, which I suppose keeps people coming back. But I'm going to get to that in a second. I wanted to ask you, obviously, you've been in the industry for a very long time. How did it all start?
So, I've been in the industry for a very, very long time. Started with, I was always very sporty at school, as was my brother Paul. And after school, we studied our commerce degrees, and then we studied honors degrees in economics. Actually, honors degrees, we came to Cape Town. And during that time, there were a lot of people asking for help. The fitness industry was slowly growing. And after we graduated from our degrees, we sat down with my parents and we told them we're not going to come back to Johannesburg and be stockbrokers. We're going to give it a go at personal trainers. And at that stage, no one really knew what a personal trainer was in the 90s. And so they were pretty cool. I think it's very important to have a good support structure. And they were, give it a go, see what happens. And if you like it, fantastic. If you don't, at least you've got your degrees to fall back on, and you can always come back to Johannesburg and work at the stock exchange. And we just loved it. We were just very passionate about helping people and seeing people achieve the best that they could achieve. And slowly but surely, we grew more and more entwined in the fitness industry. And we actually in 2001, we started exporting product when the rand weakened quite a bit against the dollar. We started a Pilates brand, and we manufactured in Cape Town, exported to the States. So that was quite a fun adventure. And then we started an import company where we started bringing the top brands into South Africa and supplying all the big chains and retail stores and that. Yeah, and we just grew and grew. So we've been involved in everything from fitness, in fitness, from clothing to equipment, to having gyms, to consulting on gym setups. And just loving the journey. And it feels like we've been involved forever, but it feels like we've been involved for a very short period of time, because every single day we learn stuff. And just to go back on what you said earlier, I think, when we're kids and we grow up and we're all on a playground and everyone's attracted to one another, there's no one judges. So whether you are fit or unfit, or whether you've got a big house or a small house, it's totally irrelevant, because kids just gravitate towards one another. And that's the culture that we try to have in all our businesses, is that no matter who you are or what your background is, you're always welcome. And everybody has to be, or not has to be, everyone gets treated with respect. And I think that's what brings out the best in people, when they feel like that part of a community, a sense of a community, and not only part of a community, but a community that wants them to achieve their best. And that's really what all our clubs have done, whether it's BUC, which is the gym side of it, whether it's SWEAT1000, which is the boutique side of it. And even if you're a SWEAT member and you're not a BUC member, you still get treated by all the staff in exactly the same way.
Yeah. And I mean, you've built a global following. So this is, something I want to touch on shortly is there are people from around the world that when they come to Cape Town, Sweat is their second home, which is really not easy to achieve. And it takes a lot. But just to zoom out, obviously our chat today is mainly focusing on culture, but what you were talking about now is actually very interesting, because most people that start a fitness business are usually lifestyle business owners. So, you start a gym or a fitness business or a studio, and it's essentially a business that can grow to a level where it can sustain a good lifestyle and you're doing something you're passionate about. But what you and Paul have done is you've actually built, in my eyes, what I would term a growth business, which is you've got a few different things in the stable, different revenue streams and so on. And that kind of shows that, as a fitness business owner, it's not limited. There's a lot more that can be achieved. And I just wanted to go back to that. Was that kind of, when you started, was that deliberate, that you wanted to keep your eyes open for opportunities, or is it stuff that just organically happened as you went along?
So it's a combination. So when we started, we also started a clothing range. We always really wanted to get into clothing and fitness apparel. And we started the BUC clothing range in 1995, and started selling clothes at our facility, and also at Green Market Square, which was a flea market. I don't even know if it's still around, but
yeah, I remember.
So we started, and there's still people to this day that wear clothes with the BUC logo on, which is great to see. But I think a lot of the stuff that happens along the way is organic, number one. But number two is, I think there's so much potential in this industry still to grow. So any trainers out there, anyone who wants to have their own fitness facility one day, the most important thing is to stay focused on what you do and do it well, and not get involved in too many different revenue streams where you actually lose focus on what your core is. And that's a big problem.
It's good advice.
So you've got to stay focused. What is your core? Why are you doing what you're doing? That is a question you've got to ask yourself every day. Are you passionate about what you're doing? What drives you? What makes you feel like this incredible energy to wake up in the morning and go, why am I waking up this morning? What am I going to do today that's going to be different, that's going to make a difference in somebody's life? And does that fulfill me? Is that what the drive is? And I think if you can figure out what that drive is to wake up every day and what makes you happy and what you're passionate about, everything else will just follow.
The funny thing is, I actually think the way it works is if you operate with that energy, opportunities come your way, as opposed to if you operate with a different mentality that isn't a growth mindset, you probably don't find good opportunities. And so it's great advice. Yeah.
But also another very important thing is that, life is tough. There are a lot of challenges along the way, and there will be when you start your business. There's always going to be challenges.
Yes.
But everybody starts out with no one starts out wanting to fail.
Yeah.
But as long as you, and I always say it all the time, is that as long as you fail forward and you learn from your mistakes and you grow, there's going to be times where everything's great, and there are going to be times when things aren't so great. But those low times are the times that you actually really appreciate the good times, and those are the things that drive you to get back to those good times.
Absolutely.
So, life's got its ebbs and flows and ups and downs, and nothing's plain sailing. And as soon as you realize that, the more you'll be able to focus on the positive, because exactly what you say, it's what you manifest. If you put out positivity to the world, positivity is attracted to you.
Agreed.
If you go through life thinking, oh my goodness, my knees sore, I don't feel like training today, or I've got a sore shoulder, or those are the kind of things, all those negative thoughts that eventually start draining not only you, but draining the people who come into your business.
Everything
because
around you.
People come to a fitness club to be inspired and motivated, and I hear it a lot of the times, and people don't want to go to a personal trainer and hear the personal trainer talk about how bad their life is. 100%. They really don't.
Yeah.
So if you're telling your clients too much information, right now, I tell you, stop. Listen. Be a better listener. You've got 2 ears. Listen with both ears. You've got one mouth. Just inspire and motivate, but listen. Do not tell your clients about how bad your life is.
Yeah.
If you want a sustainable business.
Yeah. 100%. You want to uplift them, not bring the energy down.
100%.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Speaking of energy, so like I said earlier, maybe it's just the times that I'm there, but every time I've been to Sweat, you've been there yourself, standing in the reception area and having a chat with your members. It feels to me like, you know everyone by name. Obviously, that's easy to do when you're small, but when you've grown to the level that you have now, that requires a lot of energy. I'd like to get an understanding in a second of how you scale that. But how do you manage your own personal, as the entrepreneur, you and Paul in the same boat, how do you guys manage your own energy to keep you going and to keep your kind of, exactly what you said now?
So I don't know. I feed off other people's energy. So I really stay away from negative people. I stay away from any kind of negativity. And I love being inspired by people's stories and our clients. So we have such a wide variety of clients coming in, from celebrities who are well-known Hollywood actors to rugby players to even to students, and everyone's got an amazing story. And we had a shark attack victim in the class the other day, and those are the stories that motivate and drive and inspire me, and that's where I get the energy from. There's no pre-workout or caffeine boosted protein shake that's going to give me energy, but I find energy in hearing people success stories or how they've overcome various obstacles in their lives, and are still positive and still push hard every single day. And if you can take a little bit of positivity from everyone, it just builds that energy. 100%. And that's what inspires both Paul and I. We used to have an office. We had our own offices upstairs, and it was great, beautiful offices. And I hate being in an office. I like people. I love people. And if I was sitting in an office all day, I think I would have no energy, but I don't think I'd have as much energy as I have now. And so I like to be in the mix of things. I like to be with people. I love it when people come in. Today we had a really great visitor who was just in the area, just came to say hello. And that's what I want. I want people, even if they're not training at the gym, just come say hello, come have a coffee.
And keep it personal.
Keep it personal. Come say hi.
Yeah, because I mean, it is very inspiring. Like, I know for a fact that you and Paul being there inspires your members. Your classes are the hardest classes, but people are clamoring to get in, which is amazing. How do you, as you grow, how do you keep it personal? Because obviously the sheer number of people that you kind of, that your business interacts with increases. Do you have any kind of systems in place with your staff, or I'm just interested to know.
So it does become more and more difficult the more branches you have, not the more people you have. I think the more people you have, I mean, you might not remember everyone's name, but as long as you greet them, it doesn't really matter. I don't think anyone expects you to remember their name. But if you can, great. We have thousands upon thousands. As you said, we've got like so many foreigners coming. They might come once every 2 years, and they'll know me, and I think they'll know a lot about the trainers just because of Instagram, and maybe they follow us or whatever it is. So they'll go, "Hi, Andrew," and sometimes I won't know their name, but if you just pretend like you know them and say hi and be nice and welcome back, and and you can, and that's all it is. So we have so many people coming through our doors. Also with the location we're at, the hard part to replicate and to scale is opening up more branches when Paul and I are not there.
Yes.
And I think that's tough for any business.
Yes.
Whether it's a restaurant, whether it's in fitness, people want to see the owner. And they know that when they go to a restaurant, if it's called John's, they want to see John. If John opens up a restaurant and he lives on a different continent or in a different province, and they go and it's called John's, but there's no John there, it's how do you make that staff that the staff contingent that are at that specific place without the owner, how do you make them replicate the culture of the business? And it's not easy. I can tell you right now, it's not easy. Because people come and they experience exactly what you say. They experience me and Paul welcoming at the door. Whereas at the other branches, for example, you might have staff, but they, not to say that they're bad staff, they just don't have the people skills maybe that I might have, for example.
Yeah, or the like the confidence and the authority that comes with being an owner,
or the experience. So so if somebody has a bad experience at our club, and I'll know how to diffuse a situation or make them feel that that they'll want to come back or win them back. Whereas when you're not there and the person has a bad experience, it's very difficult. So you've got to try and explain to that staff member that you're always available.
Yes.
As an owner, so they can always get that client to call you. I don't care if people have my cell number and they want to call me. I just want to make sure that person has a great experience no matter what branch they go to.
Yeah.
And that's important to me. So obviously you try and instill the culture and the values and being nice to everybody when they come in the door and looking after them and making sure that they get recognized for their achievements. And I think that's a very important thing as well. All people want. And gyms are intimidating. A gym is an intimidating place,
of course,
for anyone. If I go into a gym in Los Angeles and I walk into the gym and I've never been there before, I'm intimidated.
Yes.
It's might be a slightly different kind of intimidation. And that's why it's very important to make people feel like they're welcome.
100%.
Say hello, make them feel welcome, have a coffee, sit with me. When are you coming back? Let's have just make people feel welcome. And I think that's what we all need. We all need that little bit of recognition. Well done, you did great today. And then you'll have a person go, I don't think I did so great because I wasn't feeling great today and I've got a lot on my mind. I said, but you gotcha. Step one is getting here, getting through the class. You never left.
I'm actually teaching them that's what counts.
And then they leave, instead of doubting themselves, actually rewarding themselves with hang on, I actually did it right. Most people would be lying in bed, but I actually made it.
Exactly.
And
I got through it.
I got through it. And that's the most important thing. You're going to have days where you feel a bit down and you feel a bit like less energy than a certain day where you pushed hard. That's normal. It happens to the most elite athletes in the world.
In every part of life,
in everything. And but you got through. You just got to get through it. You just got to do your best, because that's the competition is with yourself. And if you can do your best and not beat yourself up about it, you're doing great.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you're talking about this from a training perspective, but if I think about it from starting a business perspective, the same principles apply.
100%.
You compete with yourself. Don't worry too much about your competitors. Do your best, show up every day, and the rest takes care of itself.
Exactly. So I always say, focus on what you do and do it well.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the noise. And if you're in a business and you're worrying about your competitors, you actually lose focus on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, oh, my competitor's doing this, I've got to do this. So, and that's not how it should be. Competition is amazing. It's the best thing. It's the best thing, number one, because it brings out the best in you.
Yeah.
Number two is it gives a better service to your clients. So it's great for the clients. It's great for the business owner, but don't get caught up in the negativity. Competition's great. If somebody wants to open up across the road, fantastic. Nothing wrong with it.
100%.
And everyone's entitled to and there's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
There really is. There's enough for everybody. You've just got to do what you do better than anyone else.
Yeah. Well, I always say if you stay true to yourself and you are true to your culture and your personality, you don't really have any competition because there's no one that can really replicate that.
No.
And I mean, in both our businesses, I'm sure we've both seen people try to replicate what we do. And it's different. It's not the same. And, it may work for some people and not others.
Yeah.
In terms of your team, so your trainers, like if I do a sweat class, any trainer that's giving the class has that inspiring, uplifting energy. How do you attract these people? How do you find them? How do you train them and just portray your culture onto your staff who essentially are taking it forward?
Yeah. So finding trainers it's tough. Sweat is a very difficult class to teach. You've got to worry about people on the treadmill. You've got to worry about people on the floor. You've got some people on the bicycles.
You've got people to keep up.
So I had a class the other day. It was an amazing class. We had an electric violinist in the class and a DJ, and it's loud, and we had people dying to get in, and so it was oversold. We had people doing double floor. We had every single bicycle full. We had every treadmill full. It was crazy, but the energy is amazing. So and that's what we tell to our instructors. You've got to try and keep people's energy up, number one. Number two is you've also got to feed off everyone else's energy in the class. So what I'm saying, for example, is if you've got an overweight person in the class and they're running next to a Springbok rugby player, for example, that Springbok rugby player who might be having a down day will be motivated by the person who's overweight pushing their hardest and doing. Yes. So that energy is...
It's transferable.
100% is transferable to the person in the class as well. And it's just exactly the same with the trainers. We say the trainers feed off everyone's energy. If you see somebody doing great, up your game. Up your game. Because you bring out the best in them. Now let them bring out the best in you. And I think we've got an amazing, amazing group of trainers. It's a rigorous course that we put them through. They've got to do X amount of classes before they even qualify as a trainer. And then they've got to do demo classes and they get feedback. But we've got to keep the standard high. I mean, it's easy to get somebody in and just say teach and they do their own thing, but it's not the culture or the concept of what SWEAT1000 is really all about. So SWEAT, just to break it down, stands for Specialized Weight, Endurance, and Athletic Training. So in the thousands, the amount of calories you can burn in a class, depending on how hard you push yourself.
Yes.
The goal is not to say everybody, you're going to burn 1,000 calories in this class, and if you don't come back. You failed. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you burn 300 or 200 or 100. If you want to walk in a class instead of run, it doesn't matter. We just want you part of the class. And the trainers are there to inspire. They're there to bring out the best in people. And during the course, we explain to trainers it's not about killing people. That's not what we're about. We don't want to say, yes, the class is hard. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, it's tough. But we want people to come back.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between motivating someone to do well or making them despondent. A very fine line, but a big difference.
Yes.
So, it's very important that you don't make people who are standing on the side of the treadmill feel like they're not good enough.
Yes.
So you've got to make sure that everybody in the class has an amazing experience. And it's an experiential workout.
Yes.
There's lights, there's smoke, there's DJs, we were the first people who had ever done it before and taken a concept and made it an experience and a nightclub, whereas people feel that they're leaving on a high, and that's the most important thing. And the exercise is the drug, and the endorphins, and the willingness to come back, because it's just, gee, I can't believe I did that. So they've achieved something they didn't think they could achieve, which is great, and they haven't left feeling, oh my gosh, I could never do that again. It just broke me. It's just like it's like this is too much for me to handle.
Yeah,
and we have people that are pregnant in a class. We have people that have come back from an injury. We have people that are elite athletes, all in the same class.
Yeah.
All starting together, all finishing together. And it's like a golf handicap system. So you can you can be a scratch handicap and play with a 18 handicap, but
At
both
whatever
start
level.
together, finish together, and both have the best rounds of your life.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
basically the concept of what we're trying to do.
I suppose something I wanted to discuss with you today, which I think you've answered so well, is, you've created this brand that is recognizable and that people around the world are, they see it, they know it, they love it, they share it, right? And making it shareable even amongst like high profile people and celebrities. We've seen so many celebrities that come to Cape Town and come to Sweat, and they've got a picture at Sweat and so on. And what I can extrapolate, I wanted to ask you how you created that, but from where I'm sitting, it's actually the experience that you create that creates those shareable, makes people want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So the whole Instagram phenomenon of filming yourself in a workout or taking pictures started when we, I don't ever remember it before 2010, where I don't even know if Instagram was around or not. But now it's this mentality of, if you don't take a picture of yourself at Sweat, the workout never happened.
Didn't happen, yeah, absolutely.
So
I'm one of those people.
But it's but it's great. It's so nice. I had a guy come in. He was the last person I even knew was on Instagram, and he took a photo of us the other day and put it up. And it's so nice. And there's so many people, and that's a nice thing, is that we've got kids coming to do the classes now before school, and then having a shower and going to school in school
awesome.
Uniform.
Yeah.
So, the longevity of the brand's great, because you've got this young group coming through, loving the brand, buying the merchandise, buying the water bottles, going to school, saying I did Sweat, and that to me is amazing, because it shows, especially in this world of a sedentary lifestyle where we live, and kids are on computers and iPads and all kinds of mobile devices that are looking at content that's literally brainless. The fact that they're still finding time to exercise and look after their health is makes me happy.
So something that's coming through really strongly from this conversation, and actually something I've experienced working with you, is that you have a deep care and that you want to help people. And that's a strong driver for everything that you do. A little bit of a personal story. We knew each other kind of socially, and because of what we do with Octiv, there came a time where I felt like our platform is going to be ready for Sweat. And I approached you myself about it, but I was quite daunted, because I had this perspective that, SWEAT1000 is, it's a big name, and let's see what they think. And I was nervous to first meet with you. And what I found is that you and Paul were extremely approachable. You wanted to help me. So not only did you come on board to our platform, but you were wanting to connect me with the right people to grow my business, which is something I deeply appreciate. This is something that you can't buy. It's not something that you can teach somebody. So obviously what's clear is that the people around you are attracted to you because they resonate with similar values. Right. So speaking of challenges, for those of you watching us, we've had a little bit of an issue with our lighting, but our sound is still good, so we can carry on.
Fantastic.
So Andrew, in terms of, you always look at successful businesses and you try and think of what were the magic ingredients, or what are the magic ingredients. Obviously, you have a premium offering. It's also a premium priced offering, yet your classes are full, and people, are willing to pay for that value. I think, I'm quite satisfied with the fact that I think you've answered why people are willing to pay for it. But in terms of like the magic ingredients for success in your business, is there anything that you can pinpoint that could be like a nice takeout for other gym owners that are willing to do what it takes to achieve a fair bit of success?
Okay. Yeah, those are very good questions. I think clients need to feel like they're getting value. So the offering whatever your offering is, as long as you're giving the clients a perceived sense of value. And also, I think people don't mind paying for something that they get results from. And I think that's very important. So as long as your clients are getting results, and it's very important that your offering is always on the cutting edge of technology and what's going on in the world. And we always stay up to date with the latest trends in fitness and how we can integrate those into our fitness programs so that we always giving the client the latest in terms of technology, and then they don't have any issue paying because they feel like they're getting a premium product. And I think if you're going to charge a premium price, you've got to offer a premium product, and that goes
Absolutely.
for everything. Equipment's got to be well maintained. The studios have got to be cleaned. The DJs have got to be perfect. The instructors have got to be up to scratch in terms of what the classes that they give, and every class has to be given with 110% effort. And then in terms of being successful, it's hard work. You've got to put in. You've got to put in the work. It doesn't just happen. You don't just open a business and day one people come streaming in, and we know what it's like. We were closed for 6 odd months during COVID,
Exactly,
and we had to start again from scratch, literally from scratch. And it's just made us work even harder to get back to where we were. And thank goodness, I've got a great team, great partner in my brother. And if you surround yourself with staff members that build you up instead of break you down, it also makes a huge difference to getting to your goals.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, you guys have been around for a long time, but I've never seen you get complacent. So having a violinist in the class, it's really creative, and it's different to what you find elsewhere. Or like you have the party sessions where you've got you incorporate a tequila brand into the session, which just adds a whole element of experience and fun. So it's been really cool to see you trying new things, and everything that you try is a potential risk, but you're willing to take certain risks that allow you to be creative and find great ways to improve the experience. Having been around in the industry for as long as you have, what kind of trends have you seen over the last few years that are notable, like changes in the industry?
So, dating back 3 years now, when lockdown started, there was a lot of online training that happened. A lot of people went into the online space. We were also very lucky with that. We got in at the right time. We had an amazing offering, and it got the SWEAT1000 brand out to people all over the world. We had magicians in Las Vegas doing our classes. We had people on every single continent.
Yeah.
It was incredible. We had a lot of the healthcare workers from both South Africa and the UK, for example, that were giving so much to others that we decided to get them on the platform at no cost. And it got the SWEAT1000 brand out there. And we probably got one of the biggest content libraries of online classes in the world. We shot lots and lots of classes. And the online platform's still running. So that was a very, when I say it, COVID brought that about, the whole online world of fitness, especially because the fitness industry was so badly impacted. And then I think a lot of people have gone away from a bigger commercial gym to a more private, results-orientated offering.
Yes.
So whether that's in a class format, in a bigger commercial gym, or whether it's in a more boutique studio, whether it's in a personal training studio, whether it's doing something with a coach outside. But a lot more people have gone towards coaching because they've realized the importance of both physical as well as mental health. And I think if you surround yourself in a group environment with people that want you to be your best, that physical and mental health aspect is nailed.
Definitely. It's a whole community aspect and accountability aspect that you don't get at a big box gym. I think we're all getting used to everything being so personalized to us. Even, your Netflix account shows you, programs that you like to watch. Something as simple as that. So it's the same in the fitness industry. We're seeing it as well. I liked what you said earlier, which I agree with, that the boutique, specifically the boutique fitness industry, there's a lot of growth still to happen in the industry, because people are just realizing that the experience is so much better in a group setting or in a setting where somebody knows your name, as opposed to going to a big gym and not really having direction or purpose for what I'm going to do today, or anyone that's going to really care,
Absolutely.
Andrew, I'm going to wrap up. It's, I think we could sit and talk for hours and hours. I really appreciate your time, and your insights and nuggets. I feel very privileged that I get to sit here with the people in my opinion, who are at the top of their game. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Great.